Hi, today we have in the studio Miss Olivia Jean Dreisinger, who's speaking to us about her life and her dreams. So, Olivia, thank you for being here with us today.
But sometimes I have bad dreams, and sometimes I have good dreams. And sometimes my life is different. Like, sometimes I'm bad or mad or sad or happy. But all those things are just feelings.
Would you like to tell us what you want to be when you grow up?
Well, I really want to be a mother.
A mother. Anything else?
No, thank you, but goodbye.
A mother. I wanted to be a mother. This is one of the few interactions I had with my mom, when she's well enough to leave her room or not in the hospital. I feel a bit haunted watching this footage now, since she died 10 years ago by suicide. She had tried to die before that though. Tried a lot. I don't know much about her or her life, but I feel a great need to find out more about who she was. How do I tell a story about a woman I didn't even really know? I don't have much from her. I have some boxes of her old writing, some film photography, and newspaper clippings and documents my grandma kept about her illnesses. Most things I know about my mother are things you could note after a lunch with her.
July 16th, 1988.
She was beautiful, even if she never believed it herself. When she spoke, it was clear that she was smart and wickedly honest. She was the youngest of 5 kids, left-handed, and endured years of braces to correct her horrible teeth. She had a good sense of humor.
Amanda, can you move over a bit? I'm going to take a picture of the baby.
Don't move.
My mother, Bonnie, had 4 children, myself included. She never really interacted with us much.
Livy, don't pick your teeth on film.
Amanda.
She was 44 when she died. In her will, my mother writes that she wanted an article written and published in the paper to bring awareness about chronic fatigue syndrome and fibromyalgia, and the importance of hope, perseverance, and need for doctors to promote skills and not mistreat with psychiatric medications. We share the same illnesses, but that's not what I want this film to be about. I want to come to terms with what kind of mother she was. And lately, I've been thinking about having my own children. What kind of mother will I be?
Whoa, look out! There, oh!
Should I do this? No.
No nudity, please.
My mother liked being pregnant. It made her feel less sick. But after, well, she'd be sick again. I wonder if I'll feel less sick if I become pregnant. But what about when the baby comes? When I first set out to make this film, I wanted to involve the other women who had lived in our household before my mom had moved out. This is Faye, here's Catherine, and this is Anna, a few of my childhood nannies. They were our mothers in a way, since my mom wasn't capable of looking after us. I thought that maybe they could tell me something I didn't already know about my mother. And I also wanted to get to know the nannies now, as an adult. I didn't really know anything about them. Who were they? How did they feel about this big thing that was going on with my mom? What was it like for them? At that time, most of the nannies were part of Canada's Live-In Caregiver program. The program required them to live in our home for 2 years to get permanent resident status. This requirement probably put them in a weird position. This is Faye singing to my sister Amanda. Amanda loved the sound of Faye's voice. Faye is from the Philippines. She was beautiful, kind, and loving. She left our family when I was around 7 years old, so I can't say much more about who Faye was. The nannies, of course, weren't actually our mothers. There were limits to what they could share of themselves. I reached out to some of these women to see if they would talk about that time where all of our lives overlapped. So I traveled around British Columbia to try and get back in touch.
The following message will be deleted in 2 days.
Hi Olivia, it's me, Faye. Good afternoon to you. We're supposed to see on the 14th this month. You know what, Olivia? Can I cancel my interview? I love you so much, but I kind of shy. Sorry, Olivia. I cannot see myself in front of the camera. Call me later. Thank you. Bye.
Catherine was the only one who said yes.
And who's that sitting beside you?
Catherine.
Catherine. That's right. What's
Hi,
Cat?
yes, my name is Catherine, and I'm on the morning show too. And I'm very special because I have all these children from all day long. 'Cause I'm the nanny.
Catherine is from Germany, formerly East Germany. She came to Canada after the Berlin Wall came down. Can you describe what my mom was like?
So Mom, when I first met her, she has a very stunning appearance. She was this tall, beautiful lady with blonde hair and very long legs, very young looking as well. So I was thinking, wow, with 4 kids, that sure is a busy household.
Here is the messy living room. And Olivia is doing her favorite thing, playing with the TV.
I was sometimes in charge of you monkeys for 24 hours. Yeah, because Mom wasn't well. She was maybe hospitalized too. It's hard too for a nanny to be in that leading role when Dad wasn't home and Mom was maybe not well, or she was maybe upstairs. So at first I found that hard. That was very hard for me because at that time I think I was 26 years old. So not my own children. Yeah, it was sometimes hard to be put in that position to decide now what's best. Because, when you come home sometimes from school, you were maybe upset, or even you missed your mom a lot. Yeah, I think you, as the older girl, were very much about finding out what's wrong with Mom. I remember you would always sit close to her when she was talking and just finding out why she's not getting better. We criticized Mom that she would talk about herself to you, right? Because you were always questioning things, and then we were just worried that would impact you. It's tough just to be around someone, right, that is not pulling along because they can't for some reason. Mom was very much into herself, into her world. I think just figuring out herself too. We tried to get her out. Come along with us. You just have to sit. You don't even have to drive. You just sit and be there. Then at least the children have the memory of you being in the kitchen or on an outing. I tried to really promote and get her going. She would tell me, you don't know what it's like, what I'm like, and what I'm going through, right? And sometimes when I look back, I think Mom had too many kids too quick, you know, because also the age difference with your dad. So she felt like she was also the baby in the family, the youngest. She wanted this husband that's just treating her like the princess, right? But then Dad wanted children, and then they came, and now suddenly, I'm not getting this anymore. I don't know. You never know.
Yeah.
You need to talk to her, right? If you could.
Catherine was usually mistaken for our mother. It wasn't common to have a nanny in our town. I never really explained where my real mother was to other people. After 4 years, Catherine left our family to become a mother.
Recipes of pictures or
Oh, good. Yeah, thank you. With nice chives for the good for the mainland.
Catherine worked right up until her first son was born. Her 2 sons are almost all grown up now.
I'll just tell him that.
Yeah, 5 minutes to be ready. Beverly's coming. You can go and ready. So this is Faye. Dad wanted me to work with her for 1 week just to sort of learn the routine, what the nanny had to do in the household. And so Faye was really lovely. I think she stayed with you for 4 years as well, just like me. I've worked for 4 years for you guys. I remember we would cook together in the kitchen, because she would sort of show me what your family would like to eat. Faye never had a driver's license, so she was more the one that walked a lot to places with you guys. And I know when Dad hired me, for him was more important that I had a driver's license, because you guys were getting older and needed to be brought to activities that were a bit further away. When Mom left the house, I think she sometimes maybe made a phone call and wanted to see you. So we would take you guys over to her apartment, because I remember first she lived in Ladner, in sort of a darker apartment. I remember we would visit there and she had the piano. Yeah, Grandma Lorna called one day and I wasn't here, but she left a message and said, yeah, call me back. There's some news that she wanted to share. So of course I called, and I was really struck to hear that Mom was dead. Yeah, so Lorna told me what had happened, and it was just shocking, you know, that Mom was in such a dark place, and the only way out was that she killed herself. So I think we were all very devastated about it. So with Dad, I didn't really talk about that. We just sent some condolences to him, but I never heard the news from him. So it was your grandma, Bonnie's mom.
I leave feeling a little unmoored. It doesn't seem like Catherine knew my mother either. Illness can make you a ghost. Who my mother was always seemed to be shimmering before me, but was never really clear. Is this my mother? Is that my mother? Like Catherine said, I need to talk to her to find out. Would I be a ghost to my children? I wanted to ask her. I drive up to Summerland a few days later. A heat dome is squeezing us as we travel to where my mother last lived. Many of the neighboring areas are on fire. She moved here when I was 11 years old. I'd come up here maybe once a year to visit her. Then I stopped altogether. This is where my mother lived. It seemed like a new start for her at the time. Her sister lived on the other side of this shared fence, but she doesn't live there anymore. She moved sometime after my mother's suicide. I drive around to places she took me to, but I don't really know what I'm doing. I think I'm just looking for anything that feels like my mother. Something that feels like she was here. I drive around, waiting to feel her around me. I visit Robert, my mother's ex-husband, the next day.
Maybe here. I see a horse. I think it's here. Okay. Nice.
I wasn't sure if he'd want to talk to me. I haven't seen him since my mother died.
There's my mom's dog. Right there. That's my mom's dog.
I'm not sure what kind of man Robert is. We hadn't even known who he was before they got married. We weren't invited to their wedding. It was all a little strange. But he's always been kind to me.
Is that Mello? You look the same.
Yeah,
You look the exact same.
yeah, you look like your mom more now.
Do I?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all right. She's good looking. She's good looking.
I guess I always look the most like her.
Yeah. Wow.
Robert helps his new partner, Ruth, run a hobby farm now. There are a couple of horses on the property and a small dog-sitting business.
Mystique, that was the horse.
Yeah, that's Mystique.
Mystique. How many horses are there?
There's 4 horses. And this is Babe. She's 34. Yeah. You think? Okay. Yeah, I'll sit under the shade.
I think that's nice.
Yeah.
The other flower is so nice, but it's just loud.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, like I say, one day out of the whole year, when they pick those cherries right at the property line.
That just happens to me today.
Yeah.
Maybe you could just describe what Bonnie was like from your memory. Like, what was she like to you?
Well, she was fun, and she would always say what was on her mind. She wouldn't hold back anything. She would. Sometimes it was hard to hear, but it was always honest. She was probably the most honest person I've ever met. Yeah, when we were together, we tried to focus on having fun, because I knew when she was having to deal with her illness, it was not fun. So I was always conscious of not saying no. I didn't want to say that. But yeah, fun and happy in her good times. But everything changed when she started to, get sick from day to day, right? I mean, one day is great, happy, fun. Next day, sleeping, sad, depressive and in pain. Your mom taught me a lot too about that illness and about depression. She taught me a lot about the medical system, A lot of the times that we were together, I would research a lot of this CFS and depression, and their connectedness to the medications that were being given. And I realized after about 2 years of researching this that a lot of the suicidal tendencies came from the antidepressants.
Robert was the one who found my mom. I wanted to know what happened that day, the day he found her dead.
About a week or two before your mom passed, I came after work and I wanted to check on her like I did every day. I was living in my cabin and I was being connected with your mom on many levels, right? But so I came home, or I looked out on the way home and I saw a delivery being delivered to your mom, and it was a helium tank, and I know what that's all about, the final exit, and it's a procedure and how to do this. And I said, I'm taking this away, and I grabbed it and took it, right? She says, well, I can get another one. I said, I know you can get another one, but not this one. You can't do this, right? So a week later, I was calling, and for lunch, and she didn't answer, and I was at work, and somehow I knew. So I went to your mom's place, and I walked in the door. The door was open, and there was a note on the table, and it says, Robert, don't come upstairs. I love you, and call 911 right away. And so she prepared me for that, right? So I called 911, and then I called your dad and your grandma, and then the police came, the ambulance came, and they said, did you go upstairs? I said, no, I didn't go upstairs. And so they went upstairs, and then I just sat there, right? And then the coroner came, and they had to make sure that there was no, foul play or whatever, right? So they went through all the procedures, and the next day I went to work. When I came in, and I told them about it, and they said, you can't come to work. And I said, I don't know what to do. So yeah, there was a big hole, big gap, instantly, right? Because there was somebody that I was watching over, I was taking care of, I was supporting her in her illness, right? And getting her to doctor's appointments and making sure that she had something to eat, every night. And so that was going. After she passed away, sometimes you can feel people's spirits, but I knew her spirit was with you, Marlena, Amanda, and Caleb. That's where her spirit went. She wanted you guys around her more than anything.
I don't know if I can agree with Robert here. It's hard to believe that her spirit would come to us in death, if she made so little effort to come to us in life. But it's what he believes.
I did deal with a lot of the grief after she passed, but I never got a chance to really talk about it, especially with regard to you guys. But now I'm getting a chance to do it, so it's probably good for me too. Yeah.
Getting a chance to talk to Robert has helped me too. My family didn't really talk about her death either. Not until the last few years anyways. I think we both needed a sense of closure.
She's good though. She's good.
We have some coffee together after all of this, and take a few pictures.
Heading home, I happened to drive past these wild horses. The young horses stick tight to their mothers. Or maybe I'm reading too much into it. A few of the horses look like they might even be pregnant. People talk about baby fever, but sometimes I feel like I have mother fever. I look for mothers everywhere. It's my last day in Summerland. I visit one final place. This river channel. It's one of the stronger memories I have of my mother. Probably because she seemed happy that day. We floated down the river in the hot sun for hours. We both got terrible sunburns. When I think about becoming a mother, I could still only picture this big missing hole. When you grow up with an absent and sick parent, you worry that you'll become like them. But I feel comforted after reconnecting with some of the people who had known my mother, even if I'll never understand her. And I still wonder what kind of mother I'll be. Will my desire to be different, to be more for my children, be enough?